Hey everybody, welcome to the team call tonight. Tonight is Thursday, April 14th, and tonight we have a guest speaker, Makala Clark. She's a two-star diamond, and she's an all-star legend, and she is going to share a bunch of her awesomeness with our team tonight, and I'm really excited all you guys could get on here, and I hope if you have questions, throw them in the chat. Hopefully, Makala, do you have your thing up so you can see if there's any questions in there, or do you want me just to read them off to you at the end?
I have it available, so I can see it if I need to.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you just take over, so I'm going to mute mine. So.
Great. Okay, I am super excited to be with you guys today. I'm hiding out. I'm actually in Idaho at my parents' house. So I'm like hiding out in their bedroom. So like my lighting is like terrible. I apologize. You may hear my kids screaming. And if you've heard this call before, because I've done this call before, I apologize. I will not be offended if you log off and are like, yeah, I have other things to do. Because you've probably heard it. Anyway, so I just want to kind of share about who I was before I became a Beachbody coach, and then kind of dive into my topic, if that works for you guys. Okay, so like she said, my name is Makala Clark. I grew up in a teeny tiny town in Idaho called Grace. There's like less than 1,000 people. My class was the biggest class that graduated. It was like 40 kids. So everybody knows everybody. Very tight-knit community. When I was 2, my parents got divorced, and we moved back to my mom's hometown. And growing up in this area, not very many people are divorced. So I was kind of the odd girl out, just from that. My mom was a hard worker. She worked outside the home, obviously. My grandparents helped raise me. And my best friends, all their moms were stay-at-home moms. And I remember as a little girl wanting my mom to be there, instead of coming home from school and calling her on the phone. I was the girl that wished that she was, home making cookies. Like, because I didn't know what a stay-at-home mom was like, I looked to television a lot for that example, which is wrong, obviously, but I didn't know any different. My father really wasn't a part of my life either. He really wanted nothing to do with me. And so like my version of a dad was, Danny Tanner from Full House. Like, that is who I wanted to be my dad. I wanted that in my life. I would go shopping, like we would go shopping with my mom. And if there was a guy that didn't have a wedding ring on, I was like, hey, you can marry him. He could be my dad. So I just craved love a lot when I was a little girl. I was also very thin growing up. People said things about me. They called me Skinny Minnie. If she stood sideways, you think she was a zipper. Like, just little things that really never I thought about until I got older. My mom, she struggled with her weight while I was growing up. And so there were a lot of times that, I wanted to go shopping with her, but we couldn't because she wasn't comfortable going shopping. She was sick a lot because of her health, because of her weight and things. And I wasn't really taught nutrition very well. And I could eat whatever I wanted. It didn't matter. I was active. I was a dancer. And so I could eat whatever I wanted, and it didn't really matter. It wasn't until I got to high school that I kind of realized, I thought about my weight. And so I was active. I was a dance member. I was in student council. I just ran myself ragged. I was gone from 7 a.m. till 9 o'clock at night most days of my high school career. And so when I graduated high school, I was like, I am not gaining my freshman 15. So I had no clue about nutrition. So I just went to college, and I took 2 of my classes were kickboxing, and another one was dance. So for 4 hours, well, no, it would be 6 hours a week, I was working out just in my college classes because I did not want to gain my freshman 15. Well, I didn't gain anything, but I didn't learn anything either. I didn't change my eating habits. I ate junk, and So anyway, I went to college. I got kicked out of college because I didn't really go to my classes other than my kickboxing and dance class. So I kind of lost myself, and I ran away from home to live with a boy. Back step a little bit, 3 weeks before I graduated high school, one of my best friends died instantly. Like, she was just sick one night and she flatlined and she passed away. And so I immediately ran away from home when my best friend died, because I lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. And I didn't want to be around that. So I ran away after I got kicked out of college. I ran away to live with a boy who was terrible to me. He threatened to kick me out of my own car because I turned the radio up too loud. He was just very emotionally and mentally abusive to me. And eventually I left. I only stayed with him for about 3 months. And I finally, something clicked and I was like, I've got to go home. And I called my mom and dad and said, I'm coming home. They lived about 4 hours away. And on my way home, I got a message on Facebook from some random boy that grew up in my rival town, where I grew up, in the rival town. And he asked if I was okay, and I was like, no, I'm not. And he met me at my house, and he picked me up, and he drove around and listened to me cry out all of my woes and my tears and tell my life story. I looked terrible. And now he's my husband. He kind of was the guy that I'm a believer in God, and he led me back to God. And he just kind of saved me from a really bad path, because I had lost myself. So anyway, we got married. Right after we got married, we found out we were moving to Minot, North Dakota. I don't know if any of you are from North Dakota. If you know where North Dakota is, it's cold. Like, it's just cold, okay? Like, I told people we were moving, and they're like, oh, that's where the Air Force sends you when you're bad. Like, you don't want to go there. Like, your hair will break off. It's so cold there. Like, it's hell. And I'm like, awesome. I was 20 years old. We just got married. I was 20, and I'm like, great. We're moving 1,000 miles away to the middle of nowhere. This is going to be awesome. And then about 6 weeks before we actually moved, I found out I was pregnant. Yeah. So here I am, 20 years old, brand new, married, pregnant, moving 1,000 miles away where I know nobody. And I want to say I was the cute girl who started working out, no. I ate like tons of cookie dough. I went to work, I came home, and I went to bed. Like, I was not, my poor husband, I don't know. His first year of marriage was not what I don't think he expected. And actually at that point, I remember when I first found out I was pregnant, I looked into Shakeology, because I was like, I'm going to be healthy. Then I saw the price. And as a newlywed and at 20 years old, my priorities were different, right? And I was like, no way, I can't spend that. So Shakeology kind of fell away. I didn't even think anything of it. I had my little girl in February of 2011. And I really suffered from postpartum depression. I can remember nights rocking my baby to sleep, crying to God, telling him I understood if he took her away from me, because I didn't feel fit to be a mom. I'd really lost myself. I used to be this really bubbly, outgoing person, and I wasn't anymore. I had major anxiety. I couldn't go to the grocery store by myself, because all of the unknowns really scared me. And like I said, North Dakota is really cold, and it's a great place to live. But I struggled with depression because the sun doesn't shine a whole lot in the winter, and it's negative 50 degrees. You don't go outside. It's too cold. And with a brand new baby, it was just a really big struggle. So I spent a year feeling like my poor husband again, like I was bitter. I hated the person I saw in the mirror. I didn't recognize her anymore. I fell into the whole trap. I don't know if you guys have ever fell into this trap, but I was a young mom, and I was 21. And I can remember thinking, nobody's going to take me seriously if I dress this way that I used to. So I felt like I had to go into mom mode, like the mom jeans and the t-shirts, and you have to wear your hair in a ponytail or a messy bun, and because that's what moms do. And I remember just feeling like I wanted to still be young, but because I was a mom, I couldn't be anymore. So I lived like that for a year. Fast forward, 22 months later, I had my son. Yes, I don't know what we were thinking. Our babies are really close together. So I have my little girl, Adeline, and then I had Tavish 22 months later. And it's a blessing because I had him, and I remember laying in the hospital thinking, I can't go back to the girl I was before. Like, I can't. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to me. Like, I have to be different. I have to be better. I have to find myself again. So I enrolled in kickboxing classes at the YMCA. And it was a lot of money for my family. We were paying, it was $80 a month just to go to the YMCA. That didn't include the daycare. That didn't include the gas to get there. That didn't include anything. And so what I did is, because I knew money was tight, I would get up at 4:30 in the morning to make the 5 a.m. kickboxing class. But with a brand new newborn baby that was colicky, he had acid reflux, he was allergic to dairy, he just was, a not happy baby. Getting up at 4:30 a.m. eventually kicked my trash. I couldn't do it anymore. And so my husband was like, well, I saw this program on TV. It's called Insanity. Have you ever heard of it? And I was like, I'm a kickboxer. I can do anything. Have you guys ever done Insanity? Oh my gosh. Okay. Amazing program. But I didn't know what, I just was like, oh, order it. Like, I can do that. I kickbox. Okay. And he ordered it. We got it. I pushed play. I did like the first program, which is like your test, the fit test. And I almost threw up like 3 times. Like, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die. And I like went inside and I was just like, what in the world did you order us? But I secretly loved it. Like, I was sweaty and I was sore. I couldn't walk down the stairs. We had a split level house, and I would sit and slide down the stairs every morning because my legs hurt so bad. And Shanti's my boy. I love him. And he just motivated me. Well, being, the, confident person I am, I was like, we're going to kick these pounds to the curb. I'm going to do both kickboxing and Insanity. Yeah, that didn't last very long. I ended up having to go to a foot doctor because I couldn't walk. My feet were so sore. And he was like, you got to pick one or the other. So Shanti won. He did. And I canceled my YMC membership. And I started working out and doing Insanity at home. I lost 20 pounds doing Insanity. I had no idea what Beachbody coaching was. But I was the annoying girl who I hated in the beginning. I took these selfies of doing Insanity. I took pictures of finally eating healthy, because for once in my life, we were eating healthy. I got my husband to do Insanity with me, and I had a friend reach out to me who's actually one of my personally sponsored coaches. And she said, hey, did you know that there's an opportunity with this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, you could be Beachbody coach, because I wasn't the girl that watched the infomercials at the end. Like, Shanti was done talking, I was walking up the stairs. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, reach out to so-and-so and find out more about it. So I reached out to my now coach, and I'm like, hey, I want to know more about this. I'd never done a challenge group. I'd never drank Shakeology, but I wanted to know more. And she sent me a 2-hour webinar. Oh, I don't send 2-hour webinars about what is coaching opportunity. And I was like, okay. And I started watching it, and I heard the story. It was actually Brigitte Linford, who's my upline. It was her story. And immediately I was like, I got to do this. Like, in my heart, I just knew I needed to do this. And then I heard it cost money. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I messaged my friend. I was like, she wants me to spend money. Like, that's who spends money like to do this? So I'm not going to do that. And she's like, okay. So I told my coach no. I said, no way. No thanks. Sorry. This isn't, no. But something kept nagging at me. And I told my husband about it. And he's the dreamer and I'm the realistic one. And he was just like, do it. Just do it. You want to try Shakeology anyway, just do it. You know Insanity's worked for you. And I'm like, okay, I'll sign up. I'll do it. So I signed up. And I ordered the T25 challenge pack. So my journey so far, I've lost over 35 pounds, a whole lot of inches, and I gained so much confidence. I ordered it. I got my shipment. My picture, I will tell you on social media, awful. Don't do it. I took a picture of the box and said, look what came today. Hashtag T25, hashtag Beachbody Coach. And that was it. Like, well, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, who would like that or comment? Okay. I don't know. Okay. So I got my Shakeology. I opened it up. I did not read the instructions. I just put some water because I know how to make shakes. I put water in it, threw the packet in it, shook it up, and took a drink. And I thought I was going to die. I called my husband in tears and was like, how am I going to sell this crap? This tastes so awful. And he was just like, well, maybe you could just like use it as samples. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, one of their things is be proof of the product. How in the world am I going to tell people drink Shakeology when I don't? So I then did some research, and, you know, chocolate, peanut butter, banana, the way to go. So I found the way I like it, and I loved, and so I started my journey. Okay, so that's my background. I hope I didn't bore you to tears on that, but that kind of leads up to who I am. I started out, I was a mom of two who'd really lost her way, and I had major anxiety. I didn't leave my house. I struggled with depression. My kids, I woke up, I worked out, then it was just mom mode all day until they took a nap, and then I cleaned house. I watched junk TV. They woke up from nap. My life was them. And it was kind of like the movie Groundhog's Day. Like, nothing changed. My day was the same every single day. And so and I remember my coach started talking to me, and she told me about, you know, like, okay, here's the 3 vital behaviors. This is what you need to be doing every single day. And so I was like, okay. And she's like, you need to show up on social media every day. Well, I had just cleaned out my friends list on Facebook. I was done with all the drama. I didn't need to hear other people's, you know, junk going on in their life. And so I was like, oh, okay. So what did I do? I was someone who tried to be other coaches because they told me success leaves clues, right? We hear that all the time. Success leaves clues. So I would go to like Melanie Mitro's page, Brigitte Linford's page, you know, and I'd look at what they're posting, and I'd copy it, and I'd tweak it a little bit, and I'd post it. And then I'd get nothing. Why? Because I was trying to be Brigitte Linford, Brittany Leggett. I was trying to be these women who weren't me. And it was because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have anything inside of me to really share. I wasn't really confident in being vulnerable at the time. I didn't really know what to say. If you go back, this is embarrassing. If you go back through, like, you know how they have Facebook on this day, and you can click on it and see all the things you've posted? I go back to when I was at first a coach, and there's times that I'm just like, oh my gosh, how have I even seen like success at all? I literally posted a quote every single day, and like a picture of a salad every single day. And then I'd post a few posts in there that weren't me. And even looking at them now, I'm like, that was definitely not me. It wasn't my language. It wasn't anything. It wasn't me. So I didn't believe in myself at all. And I can tell you this right now, if you're a newer coach, I made $32 in my first, 3 months as a coach. And it was to the girl that told me I should sign up as a coach. She felt guilty, so she bought a challenge pack from me. No joke. I tease her about it all the time. She's actually one of my leaders on my team. She ended up signing up underneath me out of guilt, I think, too. But she's a rocking coach now. But I made $32 in 3 months. October, November, December, I made $32. And then in January, all of a sudden it clicked. And here's what made it click: personal development. So October, November, December, my coach was like, we would have one-on-one calls. And bless her little heart, I love her. She should have just said, Makala, knock it off and do what you're told, because I was inviting. I was doing my workouts, but I wasn't doing personal development because I thought that was cheesy. That was granola. Who does personal development? Like, seriously, that is so lame. Like, I don't need that in my life. And so when she would call me, I would say, oh yeah, I scroll Pinterest. I just read the quotes on there, and that's enough personal development for me. And instead of her being like, no, that doesn't count as personal development, she would be like, okay, because I didn't know this at the time. I was her first building coach. So she was learning right alongside me. So anyway, I heard Scotty Hobbs, he's one of my upline coaches. He had talked about The Secret. I don't know if you guys have read The Secret. Don't watch it on Netflix. I tried. Awful. Don't. I can't make it past the like drum music at the beginning, so I just don't watch it. So maybe it is really good, but read the book. And he was talking about The Secret, and he was talking about how he'd become so successful. Every morning after his workout, he would climb in his hot tub, and he would visualize for 15 minutes what he wanted his life to look like. And in my head, I'm going, oh yeah, right, okay. So he talked about The Secret, and I'm like, I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to show you that this is crap. Like, The Secret is not real. And I read it. And then things started changing. People started saying yes to me. And all of a sudden I was more confident in myself. And I was just like, what is different? And I realized it was personal development. I realized that because I was reading personal development, my inside was changing. I was becoming confident. I was loving myself. I was letting my creativity come out, and I was speaking to other people. And so personal development is key. I'm going to tell you, I know they're all vital, but if you're not doing personal development, you've got to do it. That is where your business is going to start to soar, because you're going to start to find confidence to step out and share vulnerable things about yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. For so long, even in high school, growing up, I tried to fit in. I tried to be the girl that like fit in. And I was afraid to let my inner self show, to be who I really was. And the minute that I just stopped caring what other people thought and I said, this is me, is the minute my business took off. Because all of a sudden I was attracting people like me that understood and got me. And so what I tell my coaches all the time is I tell them to let their freak flag fly. Like, we're all freaks, right? Like, admit it. There's no such thing as normal, and we're all weirdos, right? We all have like little things about us that make us tick and are weird and are strange. Like, for example, my hair right now is gray, and I have a shave in the side. You wouldn't have caught me dead 3 years ago even doing that, because what would other people think? Today, I'm like, I don't care. This is what I want. I feel confident in who I am. And can I tell you, Bonnie Engel complimented me on it in January when I sat at her table at New Leadership Conference. So I'm totally rocking it now. No, but it's just one of those things. It's a confidence thing. You've got to let your freak flag fly. Stop trying to impress everybody. You are not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and not everyone's going to like you either. You know, they're not. And do you like everyone? No offense. I mean, this may make me sound like a mean girl, but not everyone is my favorite person in this world. I struggle with people. We don't get along, you know, because we're different. So you can't expect everyone to like you either. So stop trying to create posts that apply to the masses and just think of one person. Create your avatar. I don't know if you guys do avatar trainings or not, but create that one person. You know, when I create my posts in the morning, I have a girl, her name is Micah, and every morning I sit down and I say, okay, what does she need to hear from me today? She's my best friend. I know everything about this girl because she's me, but it makes it easier to write my posts if I'm talking to her. If I'm sitting down at my computer, sitting down at my phone and saying, okay, what am I dealing with today? What does she need to hear from me? What would either make her laugh? What would give her inspiration? You know, and so for me, it makes it less intimidating. My biggest thing too is don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Your vulnerable posts are going to be the posts that people are going to come to you. My real dad didn't want anything to do with me after he got remarried. He didn't. I didn't have a dad until my stepdad and my grandpa came in and just kind of loved me. And my stepdad adopted me, and I've created posts about that. And I have girls that come to me and are like, I didn't have a dad who loved me either. And we've bonded over that. So those moments when I like type something up and I'm sure you've done this before, you've typed something up, you've shared your heart and soul in it, and then you kind of start hitting the back button because it's scary. Those are the posts that you need to post. You need to share. You're being impressed to share them for a reason. I don't know if you guys believe in God. If you don't, I'm sorry, I do. Every morning I pray, who can I help today? Whose life can I touch? Who needs me today? I do that when I get on calls, because if I can help one person, I've done my job. And that's what's most important to me. I have two favorite books, Girl Code and You Are a Badass. And I'm sure you guys have heard both of those, but if you haven't, oh my gosh, so good. You Are a Badass, most people know. Girl Code is getting more popular. I have that whole baby highlighted. So good. And she says, stop spending so much time watching others. Learn to trust your own brilliance, go with your gut, and believe that you have something uniquely amazing to deliver this world. So what was going on when I was following other coaches and trying to be Brigitte Linford, when I was trying to be Melanie Mitro, Lindsay Matway? I was squashing my inner creativity because I was trying to be them. I wasn't letting myself fly. So here's a challenge I'm going to issue you. I challenge this to my coaches. I want you to go through your newsfeed. Unless you have it killed, Google Chrome has a really cool kill the newsfeed where you can't see your newsfeed on Facebook. Amazing. So I can't see my newsfeed. But we all are guilty of getting on our phones, right? Like the bathroom scroll. We all do it. Don't be ashamed. We all sit in the bathroom, hide from our kids, and scroll Facebook. Okay, when you scroll your Facebook, is it filled with coaches or is it filled with potential clients? Because I can tell you right now, if it's filled with coaches, well, that's great. Coaches are already coaches. They don't need your approval. They don't need you to like their stuff. You need to fill your newsfeed with clients. Because if you fill your newsfeed with a bunch of coaches, what do you start doing? The comparison game, right? If you don't do it, you are a saint, but I do it all the time. Who likes Thursdays? Do you like Thursdays in the Beachbody world? I have a love-hate relationship with it. I promise I will be done in 10 minutes. Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with it because while I'm grateful that my friends are building their businesses and rank advancing, I also start to play the comparison game on Thursday. Oh my gosh, so-and-so just went 3-star and I'm still at 2-star almost a year later. Oh my gosh, look, she's an SC10 all-star and I'm only SC5. Right? We all do that. We all play the comparison game. And that's why you need to fill your newsfeed with your potential clients and your clients right now. Create a list on Facebook. You can do that. Go on, create a list that says Beachbody Coaches. Put those people that you love to follow. If you love Caleb Thomas, Bonnie Engel, whatever coaches speak to you, put them in there. And then every night, allow yourself to check into it one time. But stop scrolling through what other people are doing. It's only squashing your creativity. Okay. Our inner magic shines when we stop trying to replicate other successful ventures and innovate from our own desires. Be natural, not forced. That's what draws people to you. Use your lingo. If you are someone who swears, do it. If you're someone who doesn't, don't. That's the thing. Stop trying to cater to those certain people that you're like, oh, I don't want to offend them. If it's funny to you or if it is something that relates to you, do it. Amy Silverman is a prime example of a rock star coach who doesn't give a crap what anyone thinks, and she has an incredible business because of it. She's true to who she is. Bonnie Engel, true to who she is. You've got to be true to who you are. Be natural. Say things that are your words. For so long, I tried to be prim and proper and businessy. That's not me. I don't do well with punctuation, so I do a lot of ... That's me. If you're like a punctuation guru and it bothers you when people do that, then I'm probably not going to attract them to my team, and that's okay. I wouldn't want them on my team anyway. Because I don't need them critiquing everything I do. If you use certain words, use your words, use your personality, flare it up. Make it so people read it and go, oh my gosh, I know her. And when they meet you in person, it's no different. Although I will say I am kind of awkward in person. If you've ever met me in person, I'm really sorry. I get kind of awkward. Like, I'm an introvert. You probably don't know that, but I am. I'm an introvert. But I still use my same lingo. Okay. When we start looking around at others, we strip away our own brilliance, creativity, and drive. Put your blinders on. Unfollow coaches. Do it. They're not going to be offended. They're not going to be hurt. You've got to do business building things, and you want your post to attract other potential clients and coaches. Stop trying to be everyone's cup of tea. You don't like everyone in this world, and some people won't like you. So don't try to tiptoe around and please them. Just do your thing. Just do your thing. Because if you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. So try to come up with, what you enjoy. Come up with 5 subjects that define who you are, what you enjoy. I love humor. Like, I like to be funny. I think I'm a funny person. If you're like, well, she's not funny, then that's okay. I think I'm funny. I have come to a point with personal development where I love myself, and I'm okay with sharing who I am. And I want to encourage you to share not just the highlight reels of your life, okay? Like, my daughter, last year, we went through some things where she was going to therapy. We were wondering if she maybe had autism. I shared that. I've taken pictures where I look like I'm in a straitjacket, and I'm like, somebody commit me, please, because my life. Like, you have to share everything. stop trying to be perfect. Nobody relates to perfection, right? Perfect people drive me crazy. Actually, I'm not going to lie. Like when I see it, I'm just like, oh, your life is so perfect. Throw something in there, please, that I can relate to. Because that's those vulnerable times, those times when you're really open and honest that, you know what, life isn't so good. Guess what? I've shared that my husband was laid off. We're living off of Beachbody right now. We've been living off of Beachbody since before Christmas. And it's not that easy. I would like to say I'm raking in the bacon, but I'm not. But we're living off of that, and people get that and they understand that. And here I am in Idaho, 1,500 miles away from my family, and people are going, how are you doing that? How can you afford that? You know, I thought and it's because of Beachbody. I'm open and honest. So create that. Make sure people know that you're their friend, that they're like, oh my gosh, I know her. Reality show, she's awesome. Okay, is there any questions? I hope that made sense. Sometimes I get on a roll and I'm like, ooh, I hope I said something good in there. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Okay, how do we express some things that made you who you are? But okay, so like, for example, my mom, right? I just talked about my mom. And I have to be very careful about it, but I also have to be able to share my reality. Does that make sense? So sometimes I will go to her and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know I am going to talk about this. And we just had open conversations before I started posting. So now she gets it. Does that make sense? Like she didn't know my reality until I kind of explained it to her. Like, look, a lot of my memories are when you were sick and I really wish we could have gone shopping and, you know, and so she understands when I post that. Or I do it in a way that doesn't really show who it was that did it, but it still gets the message across. Does that make sense? So if like someone hurts my feelings, like today I did a post about someone hurting my feelings. I didn't call them out. I didn't say who it was. I didn't give all the details, but people know and they've reached out to me and are like, are you okay? I saw that you were having a hard day today. Did that answer that? I hope that answered that. I hope so. Did that answer it, Molly? Oh, my mom has a lot of pride. I've tried to explain it doesn't work, but it's a much bigger part of me. I would just slowly piece your story in, just slowly share it. And like I said, maybe not call her out, you know, and just kind of share it in a general, you know, growing up XYZ, this is my perspective. You're going to have that. And it's one of those things I just had to deal with it. I can tell you, I did a post about my real dad. Some of his siblings saw it. They reached out to me and ripped me apart and told me that I was a disgrace to their family. And I didn't mention his name. I actually really didn't say much about him, but they were offended by it. But I can also tell you I think it was one of my most liked posts, and I gained a lot of friendships out of that. And, you know, those people that love me supported me through it. And I don't know. Sorry, that's a really tough situation. I don't know if that helped at all. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, I'm so glad that was good info. That makes me feel good. If anyone ever has any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. I'm pretty open talking to everybody. I like to talk to people, so.
And people can also, you know, let me know if there's any questions and I can, you know, get to you too if they're not able to reach out to you. But before this shuts off, I do want to thank you. I love listening to you talk. I could watch your videos. I could do all this stuff all day long. You're really relatable, and people they get you. And I know a lot of people are a lot like you. I know, you know, not a lot of people on our team really talk a whole lot about their relationship with God, but there are a few that I'm really close to. And so hearing that, you know, just part of your story has a lot to do with your faith, and that means a lot to me to hear that. And so I really want to thank you for sharing who you are. And I know I'm still in my growing of like, how much do I want to share? How much do I want to hold back? Because I'm still in that. Even though I've been a coach for 4.5 years, I'm still afraid of what people are going to say things. So before this shuts off, I do want to thank you again. And I just really, really appreciate you being a guest speaker.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on and taking time out of your life and inviting me. That was really cool. I didn't think I would be invited to be on this team call, so it's really cool.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm going to end the call, guys. Have a good night, everybody. And again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to Makala.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.